So talk to me a little bit more about, in particular, your directing style, and what is your vision for this first episode?
You know, based on what our sets look like, how they're constructed, things like that, a lot of times you have to work within the frame of what you have in terms of your location. So I would like to do, you know, as far as, in some cases, a look and feel that's sort of clandestine, shadowy, mysterious, and then some of the, in some other respects, very much with a little bit of an edge. The way the camera is going to be used, yes, a little bit more movement. The angles may be a little more extreme, depending upon, again, what the sets are. I want to be shooting through things and around things as opposed to, and keep everything kind of moving and flowing. I did a little bit of that in Gods and Men, and I want to continue to do some of that kind of thing as well in this show.
Let's talk specifically about technology. You had mentioned that when you were working on Voyager, going through the directors, the internship sort of where you would learn about cameras and lenses and editing. Well, now everything's changed. Now you can buy a Canon and you're shooting in HD. You go home and you edit it on your laptop.
That's right.
And you do sound in your bathroom. So
exactly.
Talk to me a little bit about how you feel that the change in technology has affected independent filmmaking.
It's been unbelievable in terms of, and it keeps changing every 3 to 6 months. It takes another step forward. It has allowed virtually anyone in the country, if not the world, to be able to shoot a full-length feature film with what you just mentioned. A couple of cameras that used to be used for taking photographs now can shoot, you know, a full-screen, high-resolution HD film or video, and you can take them and put them, like you said, on your laptop or your desktop and can cut the whole thing yourself together. They have programs for sound. They have programs for post. They have programs for effects. If you want to take the time to learn all of that, you can literally do it by yourself. It is such a, it has changed so dramatically, to our advantage, obviously, to be able to put these things on for a lot less money than it would normally have costed to do so, because you don't have to buy film stock and things like that. Definitely as far as shooting style, I've noticed that I'm spoiled, because if I'm working on a digital project, and not only myself, but I just worked on a project, Rampart, which is a feature film with Woody Harrelson, and we had the director on that filmed exactly the same thing that I do in terms of these days when if I'm directing a scene, they let the camera roll. And we
because no film
do the
stock
takes
to burn
over
through,
again. Yeah, just keep it going, not cutting and slating. We don't have to, because we've got digital. We can just, it's just a hard drive. We just, you know, it's all numbers. So now, you know, I do the same thing. I like to keep the camera rolling and get the actors, you know, get them on a pace, get them on a ramp, and just let them just, you know, get that stuff, and then just cut out the piece you need at the end of the day. So it keeps it from having to stop and start, and it keeps the pace going every day. So yes, the technology has dramatically changed in that regard, and also just in terms of budgetary aspects and access. People can get into the game now a lot easier.
And I've got to assume that's a huge part of what makes projects like Of Gods and Men and Star Trek Renegades possible, not having that huge overhead of camera rental, film processing, color timing, negative cutting. All that's just gone. Yeah,
you can, I mean, the cost of the cameras, the availability of the types of cameras that are out there now, you know, you don't have to shoot on an Alexa or a Red. You can shoot on, you know, like I said, on a 7D or 5D or some of the other companies' video cameras that are that look just as good. The main thing in terms of the budgets and stuff, which have always been the case, are the locations. The sets and locations are really the issue. As far as finding the bread, it's not the talent, it's not the equipment, it's the locations. You gotta have those, and that's where the expenditures really, I think, mount as far as being able to shoot, because your production value is based on your locations. If it's sci-fi, you've also got to have some money in post for the effects and things like that. When you did Of Gods and Men, was that shot on film, or was that? Gods and Men was shot on mini DV, so digital tape. Fantastic. We did a Panasonic, we used a DVX camera, which is really a really good camera. So it shoots essentially at the same frame rate as film does. And it looks very good. I've always been impressed with that camera, even today, and it's considered ancient technology, quote unquote. Given that, it's a full 10 years old now. Yes, what we have now, but it's still a really good camera. We used 2 of them the entire time, and we always roll 2 cameras. And again, because of the cost of the cameras that you can get now, you can get 2 or 3 of them and just roll with 3 cameras all at the same time and get all of your coverage done a lot faster. So, essentially when it comes down to, again, the factors of cost are also for period pieces, is not just the sets and locations. Again, for shooting period, whether it's older or future, those are the issues even more so, because it's not contemporary. You can't just, use somebody's house. You can't just, grab your wardrobe out of the closet.
Right.
You have to have the right wardrobe and things, and that's another cost that has to be considered for shooting this type of thing, as well as the props and all the set pieces you might be using.
Interesting. So there's a lot of other things that you wouldn't, like if you were shooting a cop drama.
Yeah.
A lot of things you wouldn't have to worry about that you do.
You can find those easier. I mean,
Sure.
people may have them laying around their house. You can go down to Staples and get them.
I know I have handcuffs in my bedroom.
Well, we don't want to go into the details.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Keep that on the oh yes.
File under TMI.
Yeah.
When you directed Of Gods and Men, was that your first feature film you directed?
As a matter of fact, it was the first feature. I had only done episodic work before that. Did some recreations for TLC and Discovery for about 3 years, and then came into Gods and Men as the first full-length feature. Yeah.
When you were doing that, were you like, "This is I've arrived. This is fantastic. I love this. I want to do this every day." Feature.
I do like working on features. They are much harder to get as far as the types of, to have the job and get the book, the projects and do them. They're much harder. There's usually a span of time between each one that you do, as opposed to television. And as much as television is far more lucrative and regular, if you would get into the loop and start working, it's a sweet gig to be in. I do like features, independent features, because the director again has a lot more say-so over how the project is going to look and feel. You can literally, you have taking the script and the text and everything off the page and bringing it to life. You can use a lot more. You have a lot more creative leeway to bring this thing to the forefront, as opposed to, like I said, a television. This is your baby. This is your project, and you're the one that paints that canvas, as opposed to somebody else telling you, well, you got to use these colors only, and
Right.
just
Right.
rearrange them, but you got to use those colors.
Right.
Yeah.